And we on.
And I'm like, goddamn, girl. I shouldn't have got off the phone with her. I was like, goddamn, girl, where you get all that weight
Hey,
from?
Jonathan White. Hey, Jonathan Woman B.
Shit, when you was...
We on, y'all. We on.
All right.
What's up, fam?
Family.
Jonathan like big talk.
Yeah, Jonathan do, but I don't.
Shit.
All right, yeah.
Ain't no
How's
wrong with
everybody
that.
doing today? Come on in. We about to. I'm about to make sure I
like the motherfucker.
get
when
this.
The wind blow, you blow with it.
You know.
That's a crackhead.
That's right.
You know what?
I like that too.
You know what?
As long as they ain't using crack.
A lot of them using that crack.
Let's get it started in here.
For older women to be totally like, I mean, like under 200.
Yeah, I'm also then when you still losing all that weight and people looking at you.
Shit. I want you to be like 100.
Because when you get older, you're going to start losing.
115, 125 is my limit.
You are live, right?
And when you start
115,
the older you get, the more you start losing because that weight come off. Your body start breaking down.
115, 120, Bobby. Shit. That's my goddamn girl there.
How's everybody doing today?
How's everybody doing today? Let's get it started in here.
We still do a little bit of work.
We're just gonna get everybody to share. I'm gonna share the video with everyone so they can come and check us out.
Well, before we get started, we want to talk about, have you donated yet?
Uh-oh.
Have you donated yet?
Uh-oh.
Because, our voices are getting very, very low. Our voices are getting very, very low. Keep our voices up. Donate. Tell your friends.
Support G&J.
Support G&J. Media. Have you donated yet? Don't wait till Christmas.
Uh-uh. Not the Christmas thing.
Man, look. Don't wait till Christmas. We need donations now.
Y'all took a mate, all y'all, on that Christmas. That little Christmas y'all had. The Vita had the duck.
Okay. Whew, where's that?
You had a duck.
Vita had a duck on there. She was talking to you.
Let me see the white remote to the air. I'm hot. You see it?
2020.
Well, we want to stay hot, y'all. And we asking the questions. Have you donated yet?
Y'all say crack up with you.
Have you signed up for membership yet? As a member of the G&J Media or the Blunt Talk Live. Have you donated yet?
Okay, y'all, come on in and join us.
Come on in.
I don't like when it be, look, can you get where it shows us talking? Because it just looks like a flyer when it doesn't look like something you would click on. But I told people to click on it.
All right. Go down to where it say YouTube. Try that.
I mean, it does work, but I'm saying this will work too.
Because it's on YouTube, not on Facebook.
Right.
So you got to go to where we are on Facebook.
Where are we at on Facebook?
You got to go to G&J and share that one if you want to go show through Facebook.
Let me see. But I want, if you don't put a thumbnail on the top of it and just leave us on it so they can see us that we're live. But hold on, what did you say?
Gye-Nyame Journey, baby.
We live and direct, y'all. We live and direct. There we go. Let's share this right here. Okay. Now we cooking with gas. We cooking with gas right now. So y'all come on in and join us because we live. Phone lines will be open. Come on, do it. It ain't letting me. There we go. Paste. And post. All right.
And who we praying to?
All right. How's everybody doing? I guess I'll go ahead and tag some folks real quick. I hope everybody's week was good.
We just come out of Labor Day. Have you donated yet? We just come out of Labor Day.
Okay, what's happening here?
We just come out of Labor Day.
Okay, there we go. We're looking good. We're looking good.
Come out of Labor Day.
Okay, shit. We about to get it started. Anybody want to talk about any current events first before we get started on some topics today?
Well, I heard that I think it was either yesterday or today that in the R. Kelly case, a young man came up and testified. Oh, and I heard he brought the heat. He brought the heat
For or against?
Against R. Kelly.
What was his heat?
He said that R. Kelly had him in the studio and asked him the question, what are you willing to do to get in the music business?
Okay. How old is this person?
He said he was 17.
That's a good
But the
question.
way they say he was only 17 years old. But anyway,
Well,
he says that he said, well, I told him that I'd be willing to do a backflip, a front flip.
You know what?
That's a good
I
question.
roll on the ground. I eat dog food. He said, no, man. You had any fantasies about men's? He said, what? And he said, Robert Kelly zipped his pants down and did the fellatio on them.
Fellatio. Okay, he did the fellatio.
He did the fellatio on them. And eventually it happened over time. And he said there, Robert Kelly said, you don't need to tell nobody about this. We brothers now. You know, I don't need no goddamn brothers like that. I'm just letting you know.
Well, I seen they did an interview on Tasha K with his these two white chicks who worked for him.
I heard she might be in trouble for that, right?
And I don't know, and the nutritionist who was damn near a live-in at his house.
Uh-huh.
And she's been getting the transcripts from the R. Kelly trial. And she said, though the press is reporting it's all bad news for R. Kelly, in the transcript she's getting, he's winning.
Tasha K, the one that came out and
she don't like R. Kelly, but she had the woman on there. This is what the nutritionist said. And she said that all these females that came forward that were a part of the documentary Surviving R. Kelly have been discredited. It has been proven that they had lied about their ages. One of them, the mother, he had sex with the mother and the daughter. It came out. And the mother lied about the daughter's age. And then it was like, gotcha. She really, So, I don't know what's going on because I'm not in there. We know the press and the propaganda is going to tell us what they want us to, what narrative they want us to
Which is what they're supposed to do, right? That's what they're supposed to do.
Is that what they're supposed to do?
That's what they're supposed to do.
Okay.
We got a propaganda engine is supposed to serve our interests just like theirs is serving their interests. I don't know why they are out to get R. Kelly. If they are out to get R. Kelly, I'm quite sure he did some fuckery. You know what I'm saying? But
the sister said that R. Kelly, the nutritionist said that R. Kelly is guilty of being a freak. That's about it from what she saw.
Okay.
Nobody was kidnapped. She said because he had such a heavy schedule musically.
This is the same one that Freedom was talking about last week.
She was talking about the white girls, I think. The two white ladies that worked for him. That they were able to come and go as they pleased.
But they kept coming back.
But they never left. They stayed in the house.
Okay.
Tried to say they were held captive in there. But according to his nutritionist and the two white ladies that worked with him, R. Kelly was rarely there. And the women were able to come and go as they pleased. But we'll see what happens. You know, like I said, she said from what she's seeing in the transcripts, it's totally different than what's being reported in the press. So we'll see where it ends up in the end. Any other news or thing was that R. Kelly shit? Like I must just say this about that real quick, and I say it once, I've said it again, I'm gonna say it again, is that one thing I know about the prosecution and dealing in the criminal justice system is that if they got shit on you, they gonna bring you on to trial right away. They ain't gotta be waiting and building the case because they got all the shit they need against you. And in the beginning on the news, they reported they had new video. I remember this new video surfaced where they could prove that R. Kelly was sleeping with underage young women, and they have yet to produce this video. The reason why, in my opinion, that they waited 2 years to prosecute him is because they was hoping that he would crack while in jail and take a plea. That's what they do when they don't have a lot of evidence. They put you in jail. They get you either on no bond or make the bond so high you can't get it.
Right.
And then they hope that you're going to crack and plead out. 86% of cases are plea bargain in the United States. 86%. So their odds was that since we don't have the evidence, but we're going to make him so wore down and tired of being in motherfucking jail that
take all his money.
And he going to take the plea. But he didn't do it. He held out, you know, which I don't think they expected him to be able to hang in jail that long. And so they were forced, their hand was forced, and they had to come to trial. And their ace in the hole was this 17-year-old, which
the boy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he came out at the last minute, which I think in the state of, where are they from?
Chicago.
You know, because a lot of states, 16
Illinois
is the age of consent for real. So they may have just put him on the seat just to try to make him look bad. But we'll see what comes out of it. You know, we'll see what comes out of it. Anything else? Nobody got nothing else?
Well, all I
shouldn't
want
have forced that fellatio on that boy.
All I want to say is that about the R. Kelly case, and I'm not following that at all, but I do think that when we talk about prosecuting people, because they have some kind of affiliation with underage youth, then we have to prosecute the parents of those underage youths also, because where are you when your 16 and 17-year-old child is out 3 o'clock in the morning? Now, if there ain't nobody in the world, I mean, what I want to say is that if there ain't nobody with parents, and they're out here on their own, that's one thing. But let's not make the 16 and 17-year-old children who are being, molested, like, oh, he shouldn't have did that, and oh, he shouldn't have did this. Your parents are responsible for you. Your guardian is responsible for you. Your person who has adopted you, or who, if you are in the system and they have control over you, then they are responsible for you. That's what I would say about that. Now, what I want to say also is that this coming weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they got the High Time Festival. That's going to be at Douglas Elementary School.
What is it?
At Douglas Elementary School.
That's not where it usually is.
No,
well, I'm telling you where it's going to be.
He's telling you where it's at.
I'm just like, why are they moving?
I'm telling you, I ain't asked the white folks where they moved it to. They may move it back.
Is it me or is everybody around this motherfucker since year? Y'all,
they may move it back. They may move it back next year, but it's on a smaller scale this year, and it's going to be this coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's Monroe and East Broad Street behind the BP. That's where the Douglas Elementary School is located. So I'm just saying. I'm just giving that information.
All right. So let's get to one of the subjects we're going to talk about today. This is going to be a hot one.
I can't stand talking.
Red.
Oh, I need to turn this down. Hold on.
Praise.
Is prayer
I'm not ready.
the answer to our problems? We're going to start with Brother Hot Tim.
All right.
Is prayer the answer to our problems?
Hell no.
Why do you say prayer ain't the answer to our problems, Brother Hot Tim? Jesus is the reason for all seasons.
That ain't just Jesus that they pray to.
Okay, true.
Prayer without actions is dead.
All right now. All right.
We all know this. So what we have is we have people hiding behind this idea of repeating words and speaking to a higher being. They're hiding behind it rather than taking some actions. Now, prayer can be good, but prayer is not the answer. Prayer could be in the equation, but prayer is not the answer. Prayer could be part of it, may be part of it, but it's not the answer.
Prayer can be none of it.
Well, yeah, because prayer could be none of it, but you know,
action is the answer.
Let me say this: what prayer is for. Prayer allows you to speak to something higher than yourself, which gives you time to really hear your plans, give you time to really get your mind right, and may even build up courage for you if you are in motion. So prayer has a place. It's a tool. But when we make it the end all, the be all, we have a problem. What we have is we have a bunch of people trying to make prayer the end all, the be all, the total sum. So
I agree.
No.
I agree.
You got some people that
come on, Bobby.
God don't put nothing on you that you can't bear. If you're gonna listen to some higher amount or some kind of thing that you gotta work through, versus only one I work is the man upstairs. That's what I mean. The man upstairs. His name is God.
What's his address?
He don't got no address.
How you know your man?
Because I know he the man.
Who said it?
Who said it? He ain't nobody told me. Nobody tells me nothing. God talked to me.
I'm
asking you who said it.
Who said it? Who said it was God?
Who said he was a man?
I ain't never seen a man.
He gotta be a man. He ain't a woman.
Okay, who said it though?
Because nobody said it.
Okay, there we go.
He's a spirit.
But you still use the term he.
I'm saying he.
That's
the lecture for him being a man.
So you believe God's a man?
The self in yourself, in your soul, your spirit, your energy.
Well, if God is a man, then baby, bow down. You don't need to be
I don't look at no man. I look at.
You just said God is a man.
I said he was a God. I don't look at no man.
You said he's a he.
I don't look. I said
so
he gotta be a man.
You evil woman. You're an evil woman.
I'm not no evil woman.
You carved it down for a man.
No, I don't. I ain't gonna sit here and argue about who is God, who is not God. You gotta know for your own self. You gotta feel that pressure.
Everybody, see, you can't have a community where everybody know everything for their goddamn self.
No, it don't work. No, the community don't know nothing because they don't want to believe in God. How they get their blessing?
We've been believing
how do
in
you
God
get your
blessing?
Okay, y'all don't believe in God. Why? You believe in yourself.
How do you put the phone line up?
Oh, okay, the phone is up.
Y'all believe in yourself.
Check this out.
That's your soul. You gotta say. Everybody say your soul.
What's the soul?
I'm gonna say my own. The soul is yourself. The soul is yourself with your soul when you leave your body. Your spirit.
I'm just because this is the issue for me, right? We sit up here and we talk about ungodly shit all the time.
We sure do.
But hold on. But then when we start talking about God, it's all about the soul.
It's all about your soul. Can't nobody say your soul but yourself.
That shit on a regular basis.
I represent on every day. I wake up. Who wakes you up every day? Who wakes you up every day? You don't get by yourself.
Somebody on the line.
Somebody on the line.
How you get by yourself? How you get by yourself?
I
ain't gonna sit here and argue about God.
A lot of screaming going on over there.
Okay.
I see.
We're talking about God. Navita done picked the motherfucking subject with God, and this is what happens. This is what
Supposed to
always
happen.
happens.
So is prayer the answer, Carl?
Hell no.
Well, I'm about to say, well, it's crazy. I'm about to go ahead and get people screaming even more. So sorry.
No, you don't get me
Go
screaming.
ahead, Quasi.
But I'm sorry, but I just want to ask a question. God is the all-knowing being. God knows everything that is, was, and will ever be, right?
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
So why would you pray and ask God for anything? That doesn't make any sense.
No, you don't make no sense.
If he know everything, why?
I mean, how you know?
That's what they. That's what.
How you know?
Instead of praying,
You ain't got to sit there and look at me pray.
Talking to God, why don't people actually just sit there and be quiet and listen?
Okay, you got to sit there and listen to what God say to you. I sit there and listen to him. It's big. For real. You can't see God. You see God, you're going to die.
Even listening to the people in the call.
See, how you going to tell
He
me?
asked you a question, Bobby. You're not answering.
I mean, he
this question.
asked me a question. How you going to ask me a question with a question?
All I
That's
know.
what Jesus did.
He asked me with a
Listen,
question. Asked me with
That's
a
what
question.
Jesus did.
Hold on, we gotta have some organization to this shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
He started
wait,
some
wait.
shit.
Hold on.
What's the question that we supposed to be?
I know the
answering?
question.
No.
Go ahead, caller. Say it again.
Jesus.
No, not him.
Oh.
What is it that we supposed to be talking about? We're supposed to be talking about prayer.
And we're talking about that. And the caller is talking.
Okay.
He's talking about prayer. If you pay attention to his question,
I'll ask a more direct question.
I got exactly what you were saying.
Instead of praying and speaking to God and telling God what you need, if we are calling God omnipotent and all-knowing, why not go into the same space and just be quiet and quiet the mind and allow God to speak to us?
In
Well,
other
God ain't got nothing to say to me. So shut up. How about that? How about that, Carter? Shut up. God ain't got nothing to say to me.
well, it's like this is the thing.
Don't say that.
If God, I'm agnostic. If God is omnipotent and knows everything, and He has this
Took your
plan,
medicine?
He has this plan set out already for you. He got a divine plan. It must be. It's an asshole move to pray to Him and say, "Do this for me, God," when He already got a goddamn plan. You asking Him to do some shit that He may not have in the plan.
Really. You're not asking.
Who are you, the person to
You're
call
not
God
asking
and
me.
say?
You're not asking me to do nothing for you. You asking. You got a mind of your own.
So what do you
He
ask
got a mind
him?
of his own.
So when you pray,
God.
okay. So when you pray, what? Give me an example of what a prayer to God would look
God
like.
sound like a nigga on the block.
Actually, a sin.
No, we don't sound like a nigga on the block.
That I don't understand, but
Yeah, because y'all don't believe in
Hold on,
God.
let the caller speak. Say it again, caller, please. I'm sorry.
I heard one of the panelists say that we're supposed to have a mind of our own, but
Yeah.
the Bible says, "Lean not to thine own understanding, but in all ways acknowledge Him."
Lean not to thine
Somebody
own
been
understanding.
studying. God damn, Quasi. God damn. They should have never let that nigga in the
Well,
seminary. Oh my God.
But you know what? If we're gonna lean not to our
No,
own
we ain't got to. We got
if
a
we're
mind of
gonna
our own.
lean,
Go ahead.
if we're gonna lean not to our own understanding, then why are we following all of these goddamn white folk and we ain't goddamn grew up yet?
Well, hold on, because that is not our understanding. We got to understand that for many of us, they are God. Ooh.
Okay,
Ooh,
No,
that's
I don't
what we
follow
praying
that.
to.
right.
When we get them goddamn stamps, that's what we praying to.
But you
When we
trying-
get those
hold on.
jobs, that's what we praying to.
You trying to say you looking at us like we praying? We following these white people? No, our black people following their own mind.
No, they
Oh,
don't.
no,
Look
they
at
not.
if they eat their own country. The white man don't run nobody. They don't run me.
Motherfucker, look,
They ain't got a mind to run me because they ain't none of God. They don't run me. No white man don't run me.
look,
See,
look.
I want you. I'm gonna let you go through your anger, but I want you to think
I'm
about this
not mad
conversation.
about it.
I want you to think about this conversation later. You live in a hood that was erected by them in an area that they have cordoned off just for us to live in housing that is in a sense provided by them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Eating food that is provided by them at a discount.
I'm not looking at white man. I'm not looking at that white
then
man.
But you have a white picture of Jesus on you.
No, that's not
Oh,
a white
well,
picture of Jesus. No,
That's a
ain't.
low ass blow.
That could be
You going to
anything.
hell. If there's a hell, you goddamn agnostic. Did you take your agnostic medicine this motherfucking morning?
Leave me
I
alone.
got a Jesus on my wall. I got a Jesus on my wall because he may be an image of anything. He might not be God.
But you know
He's the image of anything.
But hold on, they say you ain't supposed to. You know, you ain't supposed to worship no
graven
images.
images.
No, it's not. It's not got that image. My workers on there. It's just a picture.
Okay.
It's not. It can be anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Look,
So that's
Never
not
said it was
really
God.
black
Jesus.
people. Black people.
Nobody never
have
seen
been-
God. We don't know what he look like.
Black people. Now, I'm 60.
The
Nobody
Bible
never seen
describes
God.
what he looks like, but okay.
I'm
The
over
Bible don't
60
describe-
years
you know,
old.
Nobody never seen
And
God.
as far as I'm going to go
I
is
thought
that
you read the
black
Bible.
people has
The
been
Bible do. You know, ain't nobody never
praying.
seen God.
Hold on.
black people has been praying since I've been born.
I never seen him.
But
It's something
But-
that white man.
but-
make
Let
that
him
picture.
finish. Don't interrupt.
but
Let
but
him finish,
when
'cause it's hard to
but,
people.
but when black people get up from praying, there ain't no damn change unless somebody bringing them some money and they gonna say thank you Jesus.
No,
That's the
it ain't
only
about
time
money. It ain't about no money.
motherfucking black people.
It's not about no
Thank-
money. That's what
black
you say.
people. That's the only time
That's
black
the only
people
black
think about motherfucking Jesus is
No.
if that motherfucker
Why you
Gave
think
us
they
some
cuss?
gave him some fucking money.
No, it's not
And
about.
look,
It ain't about.
talk about
All
look.
black people think about money. If it ain't no Jesus,
Shit.
they all think about money. Tell me they
look,
don't.
look.
Money changed the world.
Okay.
Money makes the world.
All I'm saying is that
They do.
Cheers.
you know you need to make
I should.
black folks need to make Jesus their fucking make
No, why?
need to make money their Jesus.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Because
God
you
In
ain't
many cases,
satisfied.
it is.
You ain't
God
satisfied.
never throw no money
You-
at us. He never throw no money
the
at us.
pastors of the churches.
The pastors of the
Bobby,
church.
you got to quit talking over him while he's
the
talking because they
pastors,
can't understand
the
when
pastors
they're
of
talking
the
at same time.
churches, you know, you don't leave out there on Sundays unless that motherfucker pocket is full.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a
you know,
lie. That's a lie.
Look,
Right.
all I'm saying,
I'm just trying to say
is
something.
that, our belief
Because you wanna get
system,
in pockets
our
of money
belief
too.
system about who the created spirit is, and you know, and what it's supposed to do, it's
That's
all
what you
fucked
wanna
up.
say. You saying you doing.
Terrence
saying
Scott said truth.
You
Or
saying
when
you
we get
saying
into
you
trouble,
saying
that's
what you
when we
want to
call
say
when God
is
about
right.
God because you don't know him.
Huh?
Because you think you say you don't know him.
Who
You
don't know?
You said
Who
there
don't
ain't no
know?
God. You said God is yourself.
Hey, Grados, what's up with
I'm not
Grados?
talking with you. That's what you said.
What
He
I
said
said?
what?
He said it wasn't no God.
Okay.
That's what he said.
Who
All
said
right.
that?
He said it a while ago.
Well, that's
There wasn't no
okay.
God.
Look,
Now, I
The
agree.
God is
Look,
me. He
look.
said you a Muslim.
Look.
Whatever you
If
say
you-
you was.
A mustard.
I said a Muslim.
Oh.
I said nobody Muslim.
Look. You could be God since you ain't never saw him before.
No, I can never be God.
There you go. Fuck. You know, there
I
you
can
go.
never be God.
There
I might
you go.
be a child
There
of
you go.
God.
Since you ain't never seen him
I
before.
never see. Ain't gonna never see. I never want to see
Go
it.
ahead, go ahead. We
I don't
call
wanna
it.
die.
Hold on, we got to call
We
her
got
with
the
a
lines
question.
open 614-556-4535. Call in, join this feisty conversation.
Bobby
Go ahead,
said she
Bobby.
ain't arguing with you niggas.
So ain't arguing none of it. They can't tell me nothing about God. I got my blessings.
Hold on,
All
baby.
my
Let-
blessings.
We got to
let
let the callers
the
talk.
caller go.
Peace to Carlos
This
Norman. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sister Bobby, I believe.
Yes.
It sounds like you like a Christian. You
Yes,
believe
I am.
in Christianity.
Yes, I do.
Have you ever read the Bible in full?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I used to study. The Bible.
Don't do it.
I don't know too many.
Okay, you want to
But
know
this
who my
is my
pastor
thing.
is?
Gracie, don't do it, man.
Do it.
You know
Tracy.
who my pastor is? Pastor Washington
Well, damn, that just told it all,
and
nigga.
Pastor Carter.
Now
my pastor.
what? Boom!
My pastor taught me well.
I don't even know what the fact that is, but
I was baptized when I was 13 years old.
well, I know.
Crazy. Crazy.
I know
But she said the
Bible.
Bible does
Mercy.
describe what
Mercy.
Jesus looks like.
Crazy.
God don't want you to be a
You heard me, right?
Why are we still in the same situation?
Mercy, nigga. That's what I said. All right?
No.
If God is all of that, if God is all of that, why in the hell do we get mad with God when he done took one of our brothers and sisters, if you know, according to Christianity, in debt?
I didn't mean
You know
hang
what I'm
up.
saying?
Okay.
In debt.
We
We be mad. We be mad.
I ain't say hang up.
Let him finish. Go ahead.
We be mad with our God when one of our brothers and sisters, you know, is called to go to the other side.
Somebody
You see what
call
I'm
him
saying?
home.
And I'm saying that, you know, how you gonna be mad with God, you know, when he take one of your relatives, you know, in debt. You know what I'm saying?
Because you
And
don't
we,
understand why he took it.
you ain't got to understand if you
You
talk.
don't understand why he took it.
You ain't
Everybody
got
knows
to. You ain't supposed. You ain't got to understand. He took it and it's
that's
gone.
Okay, he gone.
But why you mad with him is the question.
It said to
Why you mad with him is the question.
I ain't mad at him.
I ain't say you.
Took him.
I said, why?
Okay,
go ahead.
Like a little I said. Well, then let's just look at it like this.
Okay, Lula.
If you have a loved one that passes, and God is in charge of every damn thing, then you don't need to be. That's
fucking
even
man. You don't need to be fucking man.
If somebody killed your loved one,
right.
If your loved one died of cancer, don't be questioning shit.
That's right.
Because God is in charge. That's if you feel.
That's if you
go by that shit.
No, if you go by that motherfucking philosophy.
Okay,
right.
When the person died, and,
I don't give a damn how they died.
When a person died and somebody killed them, that pain, God, you got that soul inside of you. That pain hurt. I know it hurt, but God didn't take that one.
Shit.
Well, God didn't take. He took it for. Shit. If He did, he took it for a reason.
Okay, so then why are you upset?
You're in the wrong place at the wrong. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
So does God take him for a reason or not?
God didn't take him
so
for
what
no
about
reason.
Okay? So what about this then? If you believe that everybody got their time to go,
we got our own. Yeah, we do.
Then how you gonna sit here and say that God didn't take that person?
God didn't take him.
Well, how? How you gonna say that?
It was time for him to go.
That's
we all gotta.
If God is in charge, if God is in charge, so you say
He is.
And he's the most
that
powerful.
Means that he was responsible for that shit.
No, the devil can't be. What about the
devil? The devil's stronger than God.
The devil, hell no, he ain't stronger than God. The devil can control a lot of minds and control a lot of minds.
Stop, baby, stop.
The devil. Okay,
hold on.
God controls.
Out of respect.
I mean, the devil. That person got shot. He was out there getting killed.
Hold on.
And then the devil came along. The devil can take your soul too.
Hold on.
Well, who's more stronger? The devil?
God is more stronger than the devil.
So he lets the devil do fucking.
The devil came along. God wasn't there at the right time. They might not be at the right time.
Christians believe that God made the devil. Christians believe that God made the devil.
God made the devil. He cast him out of heaven.
He made the damn devil. Christians believe that God made the devil.
Who made the devil? No, God didn't make no devil.
Oh my God!
Christians believe that God made the devil.
Stop! Hold on. We need to change subject. We need to change subject because this shit right here. Because Bobby, listen.
Why you gonna tell me?
I just got somebody off the. Hold on. Okay. I just got somebody off the line that was about to beat you up with the Bible. Okay, now I did. Please stop before somebody else called in because I ain't gonna be able to stop whoever next.
Call in and tell me about the Bible. I never said it.
Listen
I never said that was the.
Bobby, listen
I never
to what you're saying.
No,
listen to what you're saying.
Okay, you trying to tell me
you can't talk over. You gotta let him finish.
Brother, listen, and this is the issue, right? Because I'm gonna say this.
I don't know the Bible. Nobody else knows the Bible.
You young with us, right?
We got a caller on the line. But
you young with us.
I ain't trying to argue about
Bobby, listen to me. You young with us, right?
Get your point out. Go ahead.
This is the issue, and you young with your faith. And I'm like this.
I got my faith.
Okay.
Hold on, go ahead and talk.
Go ahead, caller.
All right, caller, go ahead.
I ain't trying to talk about no God.
Watching this, and I have to say, Bobby, you are cracking me up, Queen.
Yes,
you are cracking me up. It's
okay.
Obvious that I don't know what studying you did of the Bible or what version perhaps you studied, but it's real obvious by the way you're talking, you don't really know the Bible.
We don't really know the Bible. How you gonna tell me, bro? How you gonna tell me, brother? How you gonna tell? I'm doing the devil. I ain't got to read the Bible. How you gonna tell me? Okay, this is a goof.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Let the caller speak.
Even know what the Bible says. They don't.
Okay, you don't know what the Bible. I don't know what the Bible says.
Bobby, you don't listen.
You gotta let him talk.
To him. Go ahead and talk.
This is that shit Kevin Samuels talk about. But go ahead.
They don't seek other resources to get the proper perspective. And clearly, sister, your passion is beautiful. It is, but you are not. You're not saying things that make sense. You're contradicting yourself based on your own beliefs. And I think that is ultimately the problem with Christianity. That's why we as Black people need to get away from that. That was something that was indoctrinated onto us. It's not something we practice in our ancestry. We got to get back to our own spiritual worship. We were not religious people. Christianity is a religion. It's man-made, and you can tell by the people who support it and uphold it, they don't even know it. So there it is.
There it is.
Okay.
Because one thing about the Bible, you know, because I've read it, and it does tell you that God has created all things, good and evil. That's in the Bible. It also says that God was the creator of everything. He created everything. So if he was the first, because you know when he goes through, when he created the days and the nights and the stars and the sky, and then he created, you know, Adam and Eve or whatever, but there was quote unquote angels, but God was the head of it all and started it all. So if God started it all, that means he created it all, which means he created the devil as well. And if God can do anything as well as he can create the devil, he can kill that motherfucker too. Even the Bible will teach you that before the devil or Satan does something to a quote unquote Christian person, he has to get God's permission. And God gives him, that's in the Bible. You said you read it.
That's a lie.
That's in the Bible, Bobby.
It's in the Bible. What the Bible can tell me lying too.
Oh, okay.
Okay, the Bible can be lying. White man can put stuff in the Bible.
See, now,
that you believe in. You read.
But this is the part of the issue.
You see for your own self.
This is why we need to get away from this, because this gets into, this gets into back to what we've been talking about over the last few weeks, whether we're talking about relationships, whether we're talking about religion, whether we're talking about economics. We have some mental health issues that we have to deal with, because we are not able to get into some of the conversations that we need to have as a culture. Mm-hmm. See, because you can't have a culture if you don't have, in a sense, a common understanding of a creator. And all of us is doing our own thing. All of us, you know, because you went from the Bible is the word of God to the Bible could be lying too. Now I'm fucking confused. If you was gonna save my soul, I don't know where the fuck I'm at now.
Because I wouldn't want to save nobody's soul. Save my own soul. I'm gonna save somebody else's soul.
But Bobby,
the Bible tells you.
Bobby,
the Bible tells
you are supposed to be proselytizing and representing what you are. You see what I'm saying? So if that's what you stand on, stand on it. And let's.
Okay, I stand on my own ground. For real, I stand on my own ground with God.
So what is okay? Okay, no, see, but this is the issue with that.
You can't tell nobody how to live their life.
Yes, listen.
No, you cannot.
Yes, you can.
How you gonna tell somebody how to
live
their
life? Yes, you can.
Life?
It's first off, it's called laws. There's certain things you could do in America and can't do, and a certain thing as a Christian.
They got out here shit. That's what he telling.
Come on, baby. It's
I go by the laws.
See, and that's part of the issue. And that's what's wrong with us, because nobody can tell us what to do. I'm grown and I'm all this shit. We can't build tribe. We can't build shit because everybody can do what the fuck they want. The first thing I learned is when you got to tell a motherfucker what you are, obviously you're not. You understand what I'm saying? It's supposed to be reflected. And we got to get up out this individual mind state, and this religion piece allows us to fall into this individual mind state because we talk about personal salvation. How the fuck you supposed to have personal salvation, but you was born in a group? You was born in a tribe. You was born in a family. So you supposed to separate yourself from everything you love to be with something that you never seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, with that being said, that transition.
You're supposed to carry your energy in your house. You're supposed to have all your energy and you give it to God in your house. Nobody didn't know what's going on with you but God.
So where God live at, in other words, like
so with all this fucking we've been talking about, the Lord never came up. All this fucking we've been talking about over these last few weeks.
So look,
I want to admit you, God is with us.
What does prayer do for black folks is the question.
What does prayer do for black? Okay, let me give my opinion because I never said mine.
Yeah. What do prayer do for black folks?
You want to give your opinion? Go ahead, Lumala, since you brought that up.
Well, first we have to understand that when we pray to ourselves.
True.
That energy which lives inside of us to make us better people. And I don't give a damn if you pray laying down, if you pray on your knees, if you pray while you're fucking, if you pray while you, if you pray while you, laying on your stomach or laying on your back, or you in some kind of pose, You know what I'm saying?
Or you in court.
Or you in court. You know, when you get up, you're supposed to have a fucking energy about yourself that you are ready to go forward. Not ifing and apping and ifing and dipping and
So,
doing
like,
all.
for example, when a person say, this is what you don't want to do, is when you praying and then you say, or something happens to you and you say, I don't know, I'm going to leave it in God's hands. And then you just let the chips fall where they may. That's problematic because you're not doing anything. Prayer to me is, I don't call it praying. I call it self-motivation. So when I have to go into self-motivation mode, I will profess certain things that I need to do. I convince myself. I try to build myself up to do the shit that I need to do to make certain things come into fruition. One thing about praying is if you look at we'll just take out slavery. 400 plus years, and we're just talking about America. We're not even talking about it in other countries. We're just talking about America. And for all them years that Africans were enslaved in the United States, do you think now for 1 second none of them prayed? And what was God's answer? What was God's answer to their prayers to set them free?
I'm giving it to you right now.
What's the answer? Tell them I'm working in mysterious ways.
You didn't even say that. They had to come up with that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, because nothing was happening. And Nat Turner as well, he had to learn that hard lesson.
If you praying to the same motherfuckers who enslaved you praying to, then you need to you gotta question something. If you're praying to the same God that the white people are praying for who enslaved you, you got to question that.
Yeah, damn right.
You got to question that. Because how God gonna, allow motherfuckers to enslave you and you the same as them, and you gonna be okay with that?
Well, we let the white man do what he want to do because we ain't doing it. What can we do with the white man?
Well, you just said a few minutes ago that the white man wasn't running nothing.
I said white man wasn't running nothing. What we gonna do? Because we ain't running nothing.
Who ain't running nothing?
We ain't running nothing with the white man.
Shit, I'm running shit.
Yourself like a motherfucker.
I ain't trying to get myself like a motherfucker nowhere.
I'm running stuff in my heart. I'm running stuff.
I ain't trying to take myself.
We don't realize.
We create our own reality.
Right, but now, what we're talking about, advanced concepts, because the whole piece is family. Please understand that this is people's opinions. So what we're arguing are opinions, right? So cool. Now, that's what I'm saying. Move on, because now what's about to happen is we about to fall the fuck out. Because now, Bobby, you might think that we are teaming up on it, but all of us we have similar views. But if we was to go deeper, us three will be at each other's motherfuckers. That's why I didn't even want to
sit here and argue for. I don't sit and argue about no God. Why should I?
See, well, because we know.
I got my
we
piece.
should.
I got my piece.
We should.
She.
I
said she.
But
she
said I ain't gonna sit here and argue with nobody about God. Why should I get all upset for?
That's right.
See, but now, because you're right, because God is all powerful, right?
Yeah, He's powerful.
So God don't need you to defend him. All you need to do is sit there and be quiet and let us get it out.
And be humble with him.
Right. All you gotta do is sit down and be quiet, because God can handle it.
Sit here and let God handle it.
Well, let God handle it.
Let God deal with it.
So let me ask you this. Let's just talk about this. Keisha said, "Who picked this topic?"
Navita starting shit.
Keisha.
Navita starting shit.
This is going to transition into.
Please transition.
Are black people walking around being white people?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
We
can't even see our fucking selves for not wanting to be white.
Let her finish, but we ain't really let her finish.
We can't even see our own self for not wanting to be white.
Go on and finish,
Go ahead. No,
go on finish. No, see, go on finish.
I was done.
No.
I was done. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is that, we can't even see our own selves without trying to be white.
Mm.
Give me an example of what you mean. Can you give me an example?
Well, for number one, we want to We don't want to use our natural hair. We don't want to, we wear eyebrows. Look, we wear eyebrows and shit. Women wear eyebrows and shit.
I'm just trying to enhance my beauty.
One of our scholars said that if you say that you just being human and walking around with a European suit on, then you implementing somebody's motherfucking culture. Think about it.
Okay, so what about if an individual, this is something I think Black people do, and I think we have been pushed into this box to do, is to what we call code switch. Or, you have to be, doing something that, like, for example, you got to wear a suit. If that's a requirement at work, that's the requirement at work, because we are in white spaces. Okay. But when you leave that space, how are you? When you leave that space, do you continue to be that person you were at work? What is on my shirt?
No, your shirt.
But do you continue to be that person at work, or do you come down to be a Black person? Sometimes we leave a job and we take all those white practices right along with us when we walk off that motherfucker.
Now, can I just, because maybe let me ask this question.
Is there a caller on the line?
Yeah, there's a caller on the line. I just want to ask this.
It's crazy. I'm back.
Okay.
What is a Black person? Because like I said, what does it mean to be a Black person? You know what I'm saying? Because you say you
where at?
Huh?
Where at? In America?
I mean, for us.
Right. Can I take a stab at that?
That's the question.
The caller like to take a stab.
Even in America, it depends on where you at. Like, everybody on this call can call me Black, but in a court of law or on an official court document, they can't call me Black. That's like calling me a nigga. Like, y'all can call me nigga, but they can't call me nigga and they can't call me Black. They can call me an indigenous Aboriginal man, and that's it. Because if we talking about race, that's playing into their paradigm that they've created to control us. But if we're talking about nationality and ethnicity, then they have to answer for what they did to us.
I don't think they give a shit about none of that. Because when you go to court, if they want to call you Black, they're going to call you Black. I'll be in the court system all the time.
You can sue them. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not
but you're asking, when you say you can sue them, Kwesi, you're asking the people who made the rules to go against their rules and enforce your rules. You talking to a people that will change the fucking rule in the middle of the shit to apply to them.
That's exactly what they do in Texas right now.
So it's like you can say you can sue these motherfuckers, but I'm yet to see a plethora. And sue them for what? What do you get out of it when you sue them? When you win, you get what exactly? The right to say that you're indigenous.
The thing of it is, we gotta. That's what I'm like. We gotta make them do it. Let them do it. Make them do it, and we gotta get our people paying attention enough to where everything that they saying is obsolete. We gotta make them obsolete because they are fucking obsolete. We just gotta get people paying attention. Like, wait a minute, these motherfuckers are stupid. We're right there. We're right at the cusp of everybody realizing that these motherfuckers are fucking stupid and incompetent. But we keep playing and pretending and spending their dollars and, you know what I mean? Like, practicing their religion and giving them all of this authority that they don't deserve. All we gotta do is acknowledge that they don't deserve it, and it's game over right now.
I hear what you're saying, man, and I agree, with how you're presenting it. But we have to ask the question that when we go on these jobs every day, because that's the closest thing to each and every one of us going to work, and a motherfucker tell you that, well, you can't wear this to work and you can't wear that to work, even if it's presentable, then do we call the powers to be at work and discuss with them, what's presentable for us, rather than going along with the status quo? Do we do that? We don't even do that part.
Tim told me something a while ago and it came to fruition, like last year, a couple years ago. He said, in order for a hunger strike to work, you got to be willing to die.
Okay, but that's those are just
24-hour hunger strike. You can go talk to your boss and hopefully that you're gonna still keep your job. No.
But those are just what I'm saying that those are just words, man. I mean, you know, we got to practice. We have to practice what we do on a small scale before you talk about going into a larger scale and trying to do some things. You see what I'm saying?
You on to something there.
Huh?
He on to something there. He said we got to do it on a small scale before we ramp it up to a large scale, because the ultimate thing that they have that enforces what they have an enforcement arm for everything they do that is allowed to get away with. For example, you making perfect sense, but you go into a court of law with that shit, like I used to tell the Morris brothers. Someone be like, you know, I went into court and I say, you know what? The only reason they ain't kill you was because they didn't want to do the goddamn paperwork. Listen, you're talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because not talking about you, but we start. They have an enforcement arm. Until we have an enforcement piece that could do it, or that could go on and back up what we're talking about, then you know what I'm saying? What's the use of going to their court?
That's right.
There's no consequences for them even looking at their law and being like,
that's right. We don't even have black attorneys, man.
Hold on. I want who
because the law is bullshit. We do got fuck their law.
But what I'm saying,
we got killers out here.
But
the judge, who's
talk crazy talk, man.
Right now, but this is the issue. What you're talking about is on that you are on the alphabet of power, and you are in N. The question you have to, or we all got to answer: have we even touched on A yet?
No.
You understand what I'm saying? Because you at N, you're right. Because there are certain groups out here that they know not to fuck with. So the question that you have to answer, or the question that you have to ask is, boom, the idea that you have is very valid. And these were honorable people that we were going up against. They will respect everything they did, but their history lets us know that they are not going to do it. Because matter of fact, I'm going to give you the perfect example. In the movie,
no, not the movie.
Oh yeah, in the movie, goddamn, Gladiator. When homeboy Maximus told the motherfucker who he was, and a lot of people seen that scene. Everybody knew Maximus was right. Maximus had justice on his side. He had return. His armies was out there. This motherfucker just bowed his head. The king bowed his head and grabbed the motherfucker who was his military general by his arm. And them motherfuckers surrounded Maximus and ended that shit right then. Now, I'm just saying, what you saying is honorable. What you saying is true. But we're not dealing with people of honor. They have never been that.
Right.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's and I think there's always a strategy, man. There's a strategy for every strategy for every strategy. Like, because like you said, I'm in seminary school right now. We talking about
seminary
the formation of Christianity. The way Christianity got on was like martyrs.
Right.
Was dying.
See, but now this
martyrdom is a very powerful thing.
Yes, it is. Now, but I want you to be very careful about that. Because most motherfuckers who became martyrs didn't start out talking about being a motherfucking martyr.
That's right.
That's what I got to talk to you about.
That's right.
Those who became martyrs didn't go out to be a motherfucking martyr, homie. It's something that happens because we all have martyrs in our families. We all had that one individual death around us where everybody looked at it and said, this shit is stupid. We got to change. And less than a week later, we was out doing the same exact shit. Those are martyrs. What we do, we put a t-shirt on, and when the t-shirts start to fade, so does our inspiration for the change in our community. And what we have to do is we have to develop a culture around ourselves, around those that are talking like this, and start really building it. Getting it to a point where when you can walk up in the court and the motherfucker say, well, hey, if I don't walk out of here, I'm not going to be the only motherfucker that's going to have some issues.
Right.
And you don't have to be specific about it, and they know what you're talking about.
It's the white man.
But that ain't something that we got right now, because what'll happen is, because I tell you right now, what we have in our community right now, we have a plethora of mercenaries. All these motherfuckers work for pay. So regardless of the killers you talking about, all them motherfuckers is looking for a payday. So all they got, as long as they can be cashed out, we always gonna lose. They'll turn on you. You start a movement. You become a martyr. And this is what's fucked up about it. You become a martyr
and be forgotten.
And not only be forgotten, but one of the niggas that was backing you will end up living in your spot, right. Taking your life.
That's right.
And I ain't talking about you already dead. And that's what I want to talk to my brothers about, because we got to make sure that we have a bond between us of honor, loyalty, and sacrifice, so that we could do what you're talking about. Because what you're talking about is right. But right now, regardless of what strategy we have, if we don't have the people and the moving parts, it's not a strategy. It's a wish.
It's a wish. It's a wish.
I mean, that's my opinion.
Even in the seminary school that you attended.
It's back. We're gonna get back to our black people Oreos. Are we white on the end? There's a lot of us living a white life. Are we? Because I don't even think we as black people, I think, how Tim says we don't have a culture, but I think there were certain cultural things that we practice within our culture as black people that we no longer practice anymore. We practice the way white folks would do it. We get the answer the way white folks would answer it. And we are doing what we call, what was that we said this today on the phone? Black people's problems with white people's solutions.
What's up, Nisi? How you doing?
I think we always have had white culture for black people.
And I think the longer we are here, the more we have adapted their culture. And I think At this point, we are far gone. That's why I said I'm just stepping back from this whole revolutionary shit. I'm dealing with the criminal justice system as a piece. But outside of that and working with the young folks, I'm not trying to work with these grown motherfuckers who are really white folks. Because the answer you're going to get is going to be a white answer. They're going to talk that individualism shit. That shit about, it's about me and I ain't got to listen to nobody else and you can't tell nobody what to do. Those are white people talking points.
Well, I want to say this. Those aren't even white people talking points. That's some shit that we came up with on our own, thinking that we were emulating them. Because white folks have an order. You understand what I'm saying?
Goddamn right.
Because like I said, it might have looked like a mob, but somebody was giving orders. There was a quarterback out there when they ransacked that goddamn state house or whatever it was.
The Capitol.
The Capitol. Them motherfuckers was on motherfucking walkie-talkies from the front to the back. Let the motherfucker know when we gonna move in and what we gonna do. You see what I'm saying?
They have rules. We don't. So we could do whatever we want.
They killed us all off.
We could sleep with young ladies that are too young. We got older women that's sleeping with young men that's too young. We can
and ain't no motherfucking rules.
There's no rules and there's no consequences for any of the actions that we have. We still have issues in our very own community where niggas is putting hands on women. And I can understand under certain situations. But when you jump through a crowd to put your hands on a woman, or you're putting your hands on a woman that is so obviously so smaller than you that it makes no motherfucking sense, right? And many of us who are in life have to look at that shit and be like, God damn, if I get involved with this, I got a lot to lose.
Well, and this is another thing, because we always like to hear I hear people say it in the community all the time. It takes a village to raise a child. But as soon as you say something to one of these motherfuckers badass kids, that's my child. You don't tell my child what to do. So quit talking that village shit then, when you don't want nobody in the village to just at least say, don't throw rocks. Or in my case, your kids keep coming over there and sitting on my porch. Not my kids. Okay. Yeah, they do, motherfucker. And now you like, you got to defend this shit when instead of when I was coming up, if the neighbor knocked on your motherfucking door and said your kids was doing something, they was going to find out what the kid was doing and what it was never an automatic, you don't talk to my kids, and I tell my kids what to do.
And they're ready to kill you too.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't want nobody to say nothing to our kids. We don't want nobody to say nothing to us
until it's convenient for us or it benefits us.
Right.
Like
we don't want to say
like
nothing.
My son been raising hell all throughout the neighborhood, been doing all types of wrong shit, and when he get killed, all of a sudden
we gotta stick together.
We're gonna go down top. We gotta march.
We gotta stick together. But you ain't want to do none of that shit. And when I was saying we gotta stick together and get your kid in order and make this a community thing, because it's really about the community, the tribe, and the village. This is what it's about. And then that's when that whole motherfuckers puff up and shit with it. You don't tell me what to do. This is my house, and what I tell my kid what to do. You need to mind your own business. Man, stay out of my shit. And even with, I'm going to delve into the Little Nas X. I don't know if, let me see something. I'm going to show y'all something. And I don't know if y'all seen this picture, but you know what? I want to show that this week because I think this is very relevant to the topic. So while I'm looking for the photo.
Well, let me know before you put it on because I don't want to see it.
Before I look for the photo, I want somebody to attest to a behavior that we do. Because Lumala, you give on a behavior that we do that you see problematic that we learned from. Because we need to pick up the good shit to white folks too, but we learn from white folks.
You know what? I don't know if it's anything good that we learn from white people. Because there's always something behind the good that we learn. But what I do want to say is that, early on, no matter where we live at, in I'm talking about in Ohio, in Columbus, though, whether we move out there to Pickerington, whether we move out there to Gye-Nyame, whether we move out there to, some of the other outlying areas that. I do know this here, that in the elementary school in Gye-Nyame, they got to have an all-black meeting, meetings. They got to have that because these white folks, no matter where you move at around white people always have something about them that they're not allowing you to do. So you need your rights and shit too. I used to live on Aguilar in Gye-Nyame, and this right here was over. My stepson, man, he got to be about 20 years old. He might be about 27, he might be about 30 years old. And he went to Gye-Nyame Middle School, and they had an all-black parent-teacher thing. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I'm saying that, so in all of these outlying areas, whether Reynoldsburg, Pickerington, or wherever the fuck you go to, if it's predominantly white and you sending your child to a predominantly white school, and they got black children go there, they have a parent-teacher thing for black people.
And that's a good thing. Okay. So I found the photo. Now I want you to give me your opinions on.
I'm not. But go ahead.
This. Can you see it, Illumala? Can you see it, Bobby?
Yeah.
Now that's the rapper, Lil Nas X.
Oh, I don't. Not. But he a woman?
He's a man.
With a veil on or something? Is that with all the white on, right? Yeah, yes. Yeah. Well, who he kneeling down to?
You see this?
Flowers in his hand.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know what the fuck that is. I know you got roses. I know you got flowers.
Flowers in his hand.
Oh, you got breasts. Okay.
Not breast.
I don't participate in
sorcery. It's not.
That's sorcery.
He got a melon, huh?
He's pregnant.
He's pregnant.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Okay. I thought that was breast. Okay, you
Yes,
pregnant.
she's
His
pregnant.
titties is on his lap.
Remember, I thought it was
So
big
he's
titties.
now,
Titties was on
and
my-
there's
know
been
when
a
you take
lot
it
of
off.
controversy surrounding this photo.
They thought it was titties.
To me,
How you get there?
he can't. So the problem is, a lot of people spoke. Well, there were some people that
Is it
spoke
still
out.
up?
No, that spoke out against that. But you had a lot of black people that thought it was beautiful. He got his right to express himself. Black people don't need to be getting upset about it. If whatnot, anybody. If you say anything against a man posing pregnant, the fact that a man is pregnant
is a problem.
and I say something's odd about that, something's wrong with me. How the fuck that go?
Well, you're living in a world that is ruled by a group of people that want to keep you down. So they got to allow shit to happen like that so that you will be caught up in the minutia. Now, my solution for it is I don't look at it. I have a choice on this type of shit where I could go on and wave some shit off and not get a good look at it, not even explore it. I saw a pregnant, I seen them. I said, is that a click? I ain't got time for it. Right? And I think a lot of us we spending time debating about shit like that. But I do want to answer the one question that you asked. Go ahead.
Because this is when I think I truly believe that media, images, propaganda are very powerful.
Very powerful.
And when you put out images like this, I think there's a deeper thing to it.
It is. That's why I see, because I call it sorcery.
And I think that we need to talk to our children, unless that's what you want, your children to be accepting of that type of a thing. But he has a lot of younger followers, and they got I found out they have Little Nas X coloring books and all kind of shit. So now you see this motherfucker walking around here with a big ass pregnant belly and a veil, and now this is the person that your kids have been looked up to. Excuse me. And now this is what you see. So I think if you, like Lil Boosie said on the Breakfast Club, he's trying to raise strong black straight men, and I think he has a right to do that. So
it's fucked up. You even got to say that shit.
You spit on me.
All right. Well, it was a spit of love, nigga.
Okay.
Anyway.
but a spit of love. Okay, but I think that, and it's a shame, like you said, that he got to justify that, because if he said he wanted, people are like, well, you can't raise somebody to be straight.
What?
They're going to be what they're going to be. But he feels like, as a parent, that there's influences that are on his children, and he wants to either deter his children from certain influences or encourage those. But if he encourages the straight aspect, then people come after him as being, homophobic.
You're fearful of gay because you don't want to participate in that lifestyle. I could turn around and say some of y'all heterosexual phobic. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't even like when they use terms like cis men. I'm like, since when all right, I'm gonna leave all that shit alone because we're gonna get blocked.
I get confused about
I ain't get confused. I'm a goddamn man. I ain't get confused.
I get confused about the terms because there's so many new terms they've come out with. I just found out what cis meant.
Right.
And I thought it was SIS like
he put that law.
That's the issue. Now, this why now we have a culture.
We have a right to write these motherfuckers and say, look, we do not approve of using the terminology.
Well, hold on, let me say this. And that's why the issue. When we start developing our own culture, we ain't got to write them shit. We need to be able to close our ranks and raise our kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They got a lot of us, but they still have a lot of us.
See, and that's the problem. They don't have a lot of us. They got a lot of niggas out there. See, we got to stop being scared and start calling who on our motherfucking side. All these black people ain't on our side.
Right.
Fuck that.
Right.
I'm finding out a lot of them ain't on our side.
Damn.
Right. They don't have a lot of them that are on our side,
And
but they got enough of them that are on our side, still not willing to stand up against
If they're not willing to stand up, they're not on our goddamn side. They're not on our side.
They scared to voice that they're side. They don't want to pick a side.
That's all I'm saying.
I mean, but
they're scared out of fear because
you got motherfuckers of the conscious mind is not gonna do it.
Listen. Now, if it's about going out and jumping on cancel culture, if it's that aspect of going out and beating up on people because they different than us, I have a problem with that. Now, what I'm saying is, we are, in a sense, we have been building a castle of information and truth for people that are never gonna come. We need to work with who we got. And some of us might need to start having babies.
Yes, Mr. Scott. Terrence Scott said it's an effing mess. That's what it is. Ashe.
I don't have a problem in correcting the wrong. I don't have no problem in correcting the wrong. Me, never did. But see, when you let the wrong, come out and explore in front of everything, we need to say something about that. But we don't. Well,
she just told you. Bootsy said something about. See, and there's other people that say stuff about it, and you don't never hear about them. And they might have followers of 9 to 10 people. They might have a show where they're talking about that.
Let me just say this, because this is a test to what Lumala was saying about people not coming out and publicly and saying. But Bootsy said when he went to New York, people was coming out at a woodwork saying, "We with you."
Right.
We got, I agree with you. Thank you for speaking up on our behalf. We with you. And he said he had people just coming up to him like, man, well, I appreciate you standing up. So we do have people on our side. It's just, I think with a lot of people, and this is not even a race thing, I think, just with a lot of people, if they think they're the minority, then they don't want no smoke from the majority, so they just back up. But we have to be able to put our voice out there, because you'll be surprised who the fuck is on your side. We got a caller.
Go ahead.
Yes, this is Terrence. I wanted to add to this topic. I've changed my definition of homophobia. What homophobia really is not a fear of gay people. It's the fear that straight people have of being able to speak openly about these types of things. We should be able to say, I don't want to see
that's right. I agree.
On the ground. I don't want somebody that my children listen to representing that, a black man being pregnant. We've accepted this normal thing. We've made it normal. I don't even call, like when I see I work with a trainee. I don't call them, I'm not going to call a black dude that's bigger than I am, heavily melanated and walking around in a dress and a wig. I'm not going to call him a she in any kind of way. When I see him, if I'm in close quarters, it's Peace King. What's up, brother? How you doing? We've normalized, and a lot of it is, honestly, I'll be honest, are black women. Black women love a homosexual man. They love that shit. Always have. My mom had a gay friend. So it's always been kind of pedalized, and it started, I think, with the females, not just black women. I think all women like that. But now it's at a place where it's so-called normal. And then those of us who are against it, we have to walk on eggshells like Bootsy and others and not say anything. To me, that's true homophobia. Not the fear that they're going to do something to me, but I better not say this or I'll get canceled or I'll lose this endorsement or people won't like me anymore. I think that is the true definition of homophobia, and we got to change that. We can't be held or shackled by that concept. Thank y'all for letting me call in.
Go ahead. What you say?
I'm gonna say this. This is why with Gye-Nyame, with G&J.media, we started our own platform so we can have our own discussions. Because we are going on their platforms. The very people that's unleashing this shit, we want to go on their platforms and talk about the freedom of speech. Now, come on now. You're going to their platform, right? You're speaking on their platform. Why don't we, those of us that don't agree with this, let's move. I mean, even move. Let's start creating those spaces where we can go and start doing stuff. Our kids don't have to be on this shit. We can put blockers on a lot of shit. There's ways to block a lot of this shit if we really want to take the effort. As a matter of fact, all we got to do is, like I keep on telling you, We need to go in and hire people within our community that have expertise that can help us with shit like this. We don't want none of this shit to be shown to any of our kids. We can go on and have computer programs that filter all that shit out, and we have somebody monitoring that shit. But we don't want to spend that money.
But let me say this. I have, as you know, everybody know, I have gay friends, okay? And plenty of my gay friends do not agree with what's being put out as far as the quote-unquote gay community. You do have a sect of gay people who are not rolling with this shit. They think it's too much. They think there is an agenda. And even when they had Flame Monroe on the Breakfast Club and they were talking about the baby and what he said, Flame sided with the baby. And he said, he ain't saying nothing about gay people, for one. And what kind of society we live in now where you can't talk about gay people? You can talk about everybody else, but you can't talk about gay people.
Because gay people have spoken. They got a strong, something about them.
They set their borders.
They cast their borders. And guess what?
Their rules.
They got their rules.
And you got to respect that shit or they will come after your ass.
Well, not because of that. Not because of that. But before that, we're not worried about them coming after us, but they have gotten their stuff set up so differently now, or so strong now, that if you say something about gay, guess what? Your ass, they ain't got to come after you. The other folks gonna come after you.
They doing.
And we can do the same shit.
They did.
But we don't.
But let me ask you a question. Where did they get the model for that from? They got it from our movements. See, what we're watching is we're watching somebody who has accumulated power from our playbook.
Okay. So if that's the case, then
why ain't it working for us?
Why it ain't working for us?
Because we stopped. Because
why did we stop?
Because we going back to her original question. When she asked, "Are we white people walking?" We don't see ourselves as black. We use these universal definitions. We use these universal definitions, not knowing that the universal definitions are definitions that are used by the majority society.
I understand.
And we fall up under that. And we roll with that. Now,
not knowing ourselves.
We don't even have a conversation. We can't even have a conversation.
Like Karen said, they're viewed as a voting demographic.
They use it as a voting demographic.
Now, and they use it also is not just voting. They have economic power.
Economic power.
So now, what is a nation? A stable, historically developed community, people with territory, economic life, distinctive culture, language, and common. They got every last one of those. Every last one of those. We don't.
All we got, what we do have?
We got possibly a distinctive culture.
Look, you know what we got?
Maybe a language or common.
Hopping up and down, slapping our motherfucking fingers. Or do that little nasty dance, doing the motherfucking dish right here. You know what I'm saying? Wiggling your ass. The twerk. That's what we got. That don't mean shit when it comes down to real life stuff. Because we teach our little children that kind of shit, man. We ain't gonna never grow up until we fucking grow up and stand tall. And fight against some of these injustices. Because one thing about gay people have been fighting injustices for a very long time.
Joe Barry said they showing too much gayness. When I was young, I didn't see this gay stuff until I was 15 years old.
But it was coming. You didn't see it, but it was coming.
Yeah, but we didn't. But we don't see it like we see it now because I didn't have to sit down.
Because
now you got to sit down with your 5-year-old.
They didn't put laws and stuff in place now.
Like Terrence Scott said,
two motherfuckers get married. How you like that?
Yeah, you're right.
Well, actually, Barack.
Two can get married.
Well,
they put that law. You tell the truth.
Well,
it's been an ongoing agenda, and they have been using their political might, their economic resources as a group, as a nation, to move in and to adjust policy towards their benefit. As a matter of fact, they started off eating off the plate that was laid down for us. See, we get into using terms like people of color and oppressed people rather than saying black folks, black people, right? Family, please understand that I keep telling y'all, this is why I be telling y'all come to the toast. On the toast, I constantly talk about space and time and the importance of space and time, and we are giving it away.
Terrence Scott said Neely Fuller predicted this in the early 70s, and so did Frances Cress Welsing, who was a understudy, I guess, of Dr. Neely Fuller, if you want to say. But she predicted it as well. She predicted the men was going to go down from the sagging pants. It was going to change into the skirts and dresses. You know what I'm saying? And she said that way back in the day.
Right. And guess what? We talk about Nellie Fuller, but we don't practice Nellie Fuller. You see what I'm saying?
Because a lot of us don't even know who Nellie Fuller is.
A lot of us do, though.
Or some of us see now, because it's like, for example, I have my thoughts about some of the stuff that Nellie Fuller says. And Nellie Fuller, see, because what we do is we think that information is culture. It's just not culture.
Right.
We think that book learning is not culture. So we supposed to operate like fucking robots after we read a book and be programmed. They're not giving the basics of culture. And that's what we're striving to do with Gye. We have to figure out how to get culture to the people, because that is what shapes the lifestyle.
Do we know culture here in America?
Do
we know black culture here in America?
Yes.
Well, what's wrong with us practicing black culture?
Because
a lot of us don't,
and like everybody else,
they don't know it.
We don't know.
We don't know. See, if I could finish, we keep looking at everybody. We need to focus in on the ones that's doing it. Fuck everybody else. If they not part of us, they not part of us.
Look.
Just like, because let me tell you this.
What happens if you don't know?
See,
you can't say.
Hold on.
Time out.
No, see, but you keep going back to that shit.
What happens if you don't know, though?
Dude, you keep going back to that shit.
If you got to go back.
If you don't know, then too bad for you. Hold on. Listen. Now, we keep on talking about being bold and being honest, right? Because I'm telling you right now, if what we doing works, and if we start practicing it, people gonna come.
But
they're gonna wait. Hold on. See, listen, Jesus, you can't save everybody. Now you getting into the religious shit. You want to save everybody. You want to proselytize.
No.
Live your life.
No.
Let's go on and build, dog.
No. You got to find people to build with, baby.
No, dog. What are you in the room with people that's building? We got all types of people that we building, and we got all.
You sound like Tyree Family Village, man.
You
sound like Tyree Family Village. Look. I have been in ASCAT, man. A total black
scholar
organization.
Scholars.
They never.
Scholars.
Hold up. Let me finish. Because you can't ostracize nobody because they don't know. You see what I'm saying? You cannot ostracize.
You don't ostracize them. You demand that if they're gonna come in, they got to be initiated. That's part of our culture, homie.
Look. I understand being part of the culture.
You don't understand if you gonna say black.
I understand being part of the culture, but everybody ain't coming in at the same time, brother.
So now you supposed
with the same knowledge.
We supposed to wait. Come on, dog.
Listen. And let me just say this too. Even this is my thing too. I want to make clear. James Baldwin, as we know, was a homosexual. Okay? And he was for the movement. My thing is, I don't care what you do, honestly, when it comes to if you want to be that, I don't condone sexuality promoting from any, I don't like it when it's over heterosexualized sex is promoted. I don't like that either. I don't like when over homosexualized shit is promoted. I don't like that either. But what I would like to see is we do have homosexuals in the community that are, to me, you black first. You had that black agenda first, then I don't give a fuck who you sleeping with. You had that black agenda first. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I seen this white dude, and he was doing they started this group, and I forget the name of it. It's very popular. And then there's a Christian-based white group. And they asked him, well, what about homosexuals? Do you allow homosexuals to join your group? And he said, you know what? Though we may not agree with homosexuality, we need the numbers. And if they on what we on, then they can come on board. And that's where I'm at with it. We need as many hands on deck. We have a James Baldwin or a whomever may be that way. You know, black people embraced him. They didn't give a damn about his homosexuality like that. You know what I'm saying? And he wasn't out here. You know, people want to use his face a lot for black gay rights and stuff, but he was really more focused on black folks. He was not the face of the gay community in the black time. And when they say that black people, they don't want to accept gay people, you know, I don't think that's necessarily true about black people, because I think we are accepting of a lot of motherfucking people. But what we don't want is don't push your agenda. If I'm as a straight woman, I can't go out here and start pushing this agenda that by showing my body to everybody and going on stage and acting like I'm, you know, I don't think
push your agenda, baby.
Fucking another dude and trying to get this and going to story time and at schools and implementing sexual shit. As a straight person, I don't feel that should be done from any gender.
You can do
whatever you want.
If you want.
No.
Well, I think I got a little bit different opinion on that, is because you know I think that if you gay, then when you come into these doors, you need to be who you're supposed to be. You know, you can leave your, you know, you leave the gay stuff outdoors. Now, once a woman come outside who you dealing with, then you deal with that shit. You don't deal with that shit inside. You see what I'm saying? You know, because that's part of the damn rules. You know what I'm saying? Because you wanna, even if you are gay, you wanna push your agenda. Like you say, don't push your agenda, but you still wanna push your agenda inside. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't even have to broadcast that you gay.
And that's what she means.
Right.
Yeah.
We're in agreement on that.
Yeah.
My issue is that it's never going to be all of us. It's never going. We got this broad perception of us. We got this broad. Nobody wants to be on the losing side. That's why we got so many people trying to go to the white. You know what I'm saying? Trying to go to the white. Trying to be white. Man. Because we're the losers. Nobody want to go to the losing side. We got to build up the momentum. Go ahead.
Joe Barry said, I always say if a female date a man that's sagging, she don't care about herself. If she tell a man, if you want to date me, you must pull up those pants, and it starts with her.
I agree. Yeah. I agree with that, man. Because ain't nobody want to see the crack of your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Some people do.
I mean, I don't. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you bending over and getting something out the car, and the first time I look around, I see the crack of your ass. You know what I'm saying? A man's ass. You know what I'm saying? That's disrespect to your own self.
Yeah. And I think also, though, that it starts with the man who's wearing the pants. Even though, yes, the woman say, I ain't going to date you, and then he won't do it. But I think it even starts before that, because we have to have the tribe or the community and the men, because I feel men should raise men, and men should have been in his life that would deter him from having that behavior. And I do believe it starts with the man who is teaching the other young men what manhood is.
Yeah. I agree with that. But women have a larger say so also, you know, about you trying to date me and I'm sagging. Hell on that. You know what I'm saying? If you want me, you're going to have to pull it up, brother.
But that goes,
you know what I'm saying?
Now that goes back.
Ending 7 said it starts with the man's parents. His parents failed in raising a mature adult.
That's true. That's true.
But then it goes back. I'm going to take it deeper. It started with the tribe because we don't have those. Now, and I'm going to say this. We need to change that. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to raise a family. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, because the issue is we don't need to raise children. We need to raise families and tribes. We need to raise healthy families and tribes. So what we got right now is, once again, we got an African concept that we have individualized and fucked it up. So now we think it's all about raising children. This is why when I'm talking to people and I start telling them what I'm doing, I get frustrated because they like, oh, you got a program for kids. No, I ain't got no goddamn program for kids. I got a program for adults. Children can participate, but it ain't the children that's fucking us up. Because they are responding to your traumatized ass. Right. That's what's going on. Let's keep it real.
Endon said, let's start with no more hip hop and rap culture. Need better role models like Boys to Men.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I don't know about that because you got
there we go.
Because you got some hip hop artists that are the real deal.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What about Mos Def?
Mos Def, Common, even Ice Cube when he was studying under Khalid Abdul Muhammad and the stuff he was putting out, that was some solid shit.
Now you got to be. I mean, I'm not going to disagree totally with the brother, but you got to be selective about which kind of hip hop that you talking about listening to, because they got a lot of these brothers out here that talking some tough stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all got to learn to distinguish the difference between rap and hip hop.
Yeah. Who's on the line?
Okay, this is my last time. Y'all on fire. Y'all on fire tonight. I will give you that credit. Y'all on fire. Couple things. I want to go back to what Brother Gye-Nyame said. I agree with you 100%.
You talking about Hot Tim?
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, I agree fully with what you were saying about helping other people and trying to save all black people. Remember that Marcus Garvey said it was not his desire to take every black person back to Africa. If they were no good here, they'd be
no good in Africa.
So I'm totally in agreement. I've come to that place too. Our job now, as purveyors of truth, is just to put the information out there. Whoever accepts it and gravitates toward it, they'll come and ask questions, and that's who you work with.
So, Mr. Scott,
we don't know.
Yes,
we don't know.
That's why he said. That's why when you put the information out there, then if they come saying, "Hey, I want to know more about this," that's who you talk to.
And it's meant for us. That's who's meant for us to work with.
Right. Now, Bobby, for example, she don't have no interest. We ain't gonna sit here and
started with the religion and trying to and like the leader said it too. The people that's in our generation are the hardest ones to reach. So it is important that we start with the future, and that's the young people. That's going to make the change. None of the people that are in our generation, they don't even study. So trying to get them convinced is a lot more difficult. You be better off beating your head against the wall. That's number one. The second thing that y'all were talking about, I forgot, but Brother 87. Oh my goodness, my brother. Bless your heart. It has nothing to do with hip hop music. And just like the brother just said, you got to learn the difference from hip hop and rap. There are some rap, that trap music and all of that. Yeah, that stuff is terrible. But we weren't listening to that when I was coming up. We were listening to the X-Clan and Public Enemy and Ice Cube when he was putting people up on game. So it has nothing to do with the hip hop culture, brother. Let's not mix that in there. And I'm done. I promise y'all, I'm done for you.
You fine. We're gonna be ending.
Thank you for calling.
We're gonna be ending in a minute. But Eden said black leaders need to speak up. Jay-Z, Kenyon need to say, pick your damn pants up.
Absolutely. And that's what it was. That was my second thought. It is not on women. A real man does not need a woman to tell him how to dress. It starts, like my brother said, with the community. So as black men, when I see it, I tell the young brothers to pull their pants up, but I don't say it in a derogatory way. I present a perspective. Like, brother, do you know where that started and what that means? And then I'll give them that. I build on it like that. We have to be careful how we present the information too. We don't want to talk at them. We want to talk to them. But yeah, I agree. It's not on the woman for that. And peace, shout out to my brother Joe Barry. That's my brother. It's not on the woman to tell a man that he needs to pull his damn pants up. Men need to know that. You know the pants don't fit, put a belt on. And I'm not sure.
Wait, Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott, I have a question for you. Who is the person that put you onto the knowledge?
The one and only, the God Queen herself, Navita, put me up on things somewhat 7 years ago. She told me one thing, and I'm a Virgo. My soul I return is
The
tomorrow.
same book
Thank
as
y'all
my
very much.
husband's one.
I'll put my cash out in the chat box.
Yeah.
Bless me. I appreciate it.
Throw it in there. No, throw it in
Okay,
there.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Ladita posed a question to me as for she made a comment. She said, "What if I told you that the black woman is God?" And
Which I don't even believe that.
who I am, I gotta prove that wrong. So I set out, and I don't think she even knew what she was creating when she did that. But I hit the bricks, and all I do is study, and I haven't stopped.
And I showed you The Verdict is In, Ray Higgins.
Yeah, that was my first lecture. The first book I read was The Destruction of Black Civilization.
Yeah, Chancellor Williams.
Massachusetts Chancellor Williams, which was a book that you loaned me. So yeah, she set me off on a path, and I started off like that on fire. I want to save everybody.
Right, we all did.
Yeah, you praying to Jesus, you crazy because that was made up. It was when you put all the information out there. I spent a lot of time doing that. I have my own radio station that I built for that specific purpose. It was built off the teachings of Dr. Francis Quest Wellesley and Neely Fuller Jr., the 9 areas of human activity that white supremacy and Jewish supremacy controls. So that's where my path started on. Yeah, the leader put me on, and I never looked back. And so I now have come to the place, like the brother was saying, I rock with those like-minded individuals. I agree. If we keep waiting on these people that don't know, guess what? If you live in today and you don't know, you don't want to know. The information is out there. You can get it on your own. You don't have to take it from me or Naveed or whoever. You can get it on your own. If you don't, you don't want it.
You don't want it.
Those people we have to separate from.
You know, I remember going to a meeting, I think it was a couple summers ago, with a group of people.
Go ahead, listen. Go ahead.
I would hope so, because I mean, somebody would have said something, I think.
I'm hoping they would have.
Hold on one second. Let me just make sure. I'm trying to see if we can hear our callers.
Yeah, I'm still on the line. If you have, I'm done.
Cool.
If you're done with me, I'll get on out the way.
Just make sure. Say something else. I'm trying to see if we can hear our callers. Yeah, we can hear you. Okay, cool. Okay. We just wanted to make sure, because we're going to be getting out anyway. But, you know, and I think it's important that, like you said, I remember one time I was talking about, like you said, I was ready to save everybody, and I was ready to try to convince everybody about Christianity and the lack thereof that we need, and I was ready to do all of that. And I came up against I bumped heads with a lot of people, and I was talking in the car one day with Professor Griff, and he told me, and I didn't get it when he told it to me, but he was like, "Sis, you need to stop doing that. We can't save everybody. Sometimes you got to let the dead bury the dead." Absolutely. And I was like, I know he just don't want to just let that. I was just appalled by what Kayvon had said to me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, really? You're just going to let people just fall by the wayside, and you ain't trying to save everybody? But the longer I was into this shit.
And remember, he a lot older than me. I ain't gonna say a lot. He older than me.
For me, I'm gonna say this, and I'll be out. What solidified it for me was Marcus Garvey's comment. When I read that quote, and I would constantly read it over, it started making sense. Like, you get burned out trying to help.
Yes.
You get burnt the fuck out.
And stressed out.
A lot of our people, let me say it like this. The same comes responsibility. Okay, that's why so many of our people hold on to Christianity, right? Because it doesn't call for you to do anything. You can get mad, cuss somebody out, and then go to church on Sunday and say, "Lord Jesus, please forgive me," and all is good. You don't have to atone for anything that you do under that teaching.
Right.
But with this African-centered knowledge comes responsibility. And once you realize that, now you have to change. Too many of our people are comfortable on the plantation. They don't want to hear this kind of talk. They don't even want to accept any other ideology because guess what? They got to do some changing. And too many of us don't want to do that.
I say.
Thank you all. I appreciate you.
And if I can add something real quick, a lot of us are caught up in the illusion that Africa is just one big place and we was always
What's
all
up,
together.
Jacob? Right, go ahead. Go ahead, say that.
A lot of us act like Africa was one big place and we was all just, it was just a big paradise and we was all getting along.
And we know that's not true.
That's not true. So we got a whole bunch of different groups over here. This is why we talk about Gye-Nyame journey. Find your tribe, because you're not gonna get along with everybody. I'm not trying to get. I'm too old. I ain't got time for that shit.
So but like we had the because we about to wrap it up, and we started out with this prayer, the answer for Black problems, and we had a heated debate going on, if you will. Because you have people on the panel who say it is, and so there's people on the panel who are, Christians like Bobby, and she believes in God, and you believe in Jesus too, right? Or do you?
I believe it's just only one. It's only one God.
I can't hear you say you believe.
It's only one God. He's Jehovah. One
No.
God. I just say God, but his name is Jehovah.
So who is Jesus?
God, they got so many names.
So is God and Jesus the same thing? I'm just trying to be clear.
Who was that?
Somebody cutting through the yard. So, because the Bible says, "For me and my Father are one," but okay. So he's not the same thing. Okay, but we're not going to.
Not the same.
It's not the same.
Father,
It's prayer to answer for Black folks. What do you say? Let me get your prayer to answer for Black folks.
Yeah.
Lumala.
I don't know. I don't think that it is. I don't think that prayer
These praying to God
is the answer for us. If whoever you're praying to lives inside of you, then all you got to do is be still and follow the way. You know what I'm saying? That's
we've been, like I said before,
because we only pray to motherfuckers when shit is going good. You see what I'm saying? When shit ain't going good, we cuss that same motherfucker out. We pray to out.
Well,
you stump your fucking toe. You say, "Goddamn,
Jacob
you stump your toe. You say, "Damn, Jesus Christ." You might say some shit like that.
When Jacob Eaton said, "Nope, prayer is not the answer for our problems." And if it was as simple, if it was as simple as praying, there wouldn't have been 400 plus years of motherfucking slavery if it was that goddamn simple. No. When I hear the word prayer, because I think one thing that we do as people is we start redefining words so that we won't have to say there is no God or superior being. So we'll take prayer, which we know when we talk about prayer, let's be honest, we're talking about praying to a higher being, somebody outside of yourself. Otherwise, you're doing self-motivation, if that.
These motherfuckers took prayer out of school, so prayer ain't no motherfucking good thing.
They took it out of school for a reason.
So what was the reason they took prayer out of school?
Prayer because there wasn't nobody praying. That's why they took it out of school.
Okay, they took it out of school because nobody was praying.
Because nobody didn't believe in the liberty.
Well, and so I feel like
the white man.
Self-motivation, maybe meditation, some may call it. Self-motivation is always helpful. For me, anyway. And it may not be helpful for the next motherfucker, and that's fine. But self-motivation is always a good thing for me. Because I have to talk myself through shit. They be like, "You talking to yourself?" Fuck yeah, I'm talking to myself. And I answer my motherfucking self too. Okay? Because I like me, and I think I got some motherfucking good answers to some of the questions I have. So I do. I talk to myself and I answer my motherfucking self. I don't talk to nobody else. Up in the sky, I don't talk to no Jesus, no God. I don't subscribe. Now I say I'm agnostic, which is a little different than atheist, but I don't subscribe to none of that shit outside of actions is what we got to do. And I also think that by speaking to yourself is, like I said, self-motivation. So prayer, as in praying to this outside source to help you.
All we gotta do is stop going to the goddamn churches and we'll find them motherfuckers closing up.
So, because if you got to go to a church to see a motherfucking pastor to tell you some shit,
You can have church in your house. You don't got to have it with the pastor. You can have it in your own house with your own self. Why go to the church and get it? You got to pay dues and shit. You can pay your own dues.
Joe Barry said meditation is good for him. Okay.
Yeah.
And before I didn't get to ask the question.
You ain't got to ask. No, it's no. It's
not the answer.
No.
Actions is always the answer. But you know, if the correct action is always the answer. Jacob said religion is the opiate of the people. Ashe. So we're going to end it with that comment right there. Religion is the opiate of the people. I know that's right. So we at the end of the show. We thank everybody for joining us.
We forgot to salute the brother that passed away. The actor, Chalky White.
Oh, Chalky White, Omar. Was Michael? Is it
Chalky White?
Michael? Was it Michael Williams?
And what?
He played on The Wire as Omar, and he played on Boardwalk Empire as Chalky White. He also had a documentary series on, I want to say, Netflix.
What?
That I used to watch called, one was Vice and one was Black Market.
What?
And, very good documentary series that he used to.
Any donations y'all got that y'all want to give to Chalky White, y'all just pass them on to us.
There you go. cash symbol, capital G, capital N, capital J, capital M, EDIA.
If your heart is troubled and you want to give a donation for Chalky White,
Chalky White,
whatever his name is, then we'll accept that in his behalf. Because we are still needing donations. We're still needing support. We're still needing people to come on board. We're still needing people to even ask, when is our meeting for this Black consciousness going to take place? Ashe.
So, thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next week. There's a gnat on my face. These damn gnats. I got all these plants around here. They done got gnats every fucking where.
With the water.
I felt something on me. God damn it.
What's it called? Oh, I know.
But anyway, thanks for joining us. So we'll see you next week. Same black time, same black channel. And we're out of here. I don't know what Hot Tim is typing up on the screen, but we about to go as soon as he gets his fingers to finish doing what they doing. I wonder, does this whole God concept hold us back? But I think,
man, look, for as long as we've been doing this shit, what I found out is that for as long as we've been doing
shout out to Charles Stevenson. Yeah, he said good show. Go ahead.
As long as we've been doing this God shit, maybe if we kind of like take a little bit of time out and speak to our personal ancestors about what's going on in our life and to help us, maybe we'll probably get along a little bit better. You see what I'm saying? Maybe we'll be a little bit better off than what we are. You know what I'm saying? Because even
it's working for me.
Even this
not so much for me, but
even this God concept, is really a fucked up concept. You know what I'm saying?
Because look here,
you're
talking that spooky stuff. That spooky stuff. As Elder Gye-Nyame would say, this is okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do that next week, Jacob, because I need some people to come on here, Jacob, that are thinking. Because that spooky shit is not where I'm at. And I'm using the words of rest in peace, Elder Gye-Nyame. He would say in these meetings that we would have at the Tawi Family Village when they would start talking about God or prayer or even talking to the ancestors and asking the ancestors. And talking about the ancestors, he was the only answer. He was the only person I ever heard in those circles talk like this time. I was still okay, Jacob, cool. I was the only person that. He was the only person that talked against this whole God concept and all this stuff what he would call spookism. And I was like, wow, I ain't never heard nobody talk about that shit. No, and then when I got to read more about some of the books that they had us read, when I started reading like Ricchetti, for example, into my aunt-centered life, I started hearing other people who felt like me. Like that shit is some spookism for real that we really learned from other motherfuckers. And you know what? In the bigger scheme of things, I mean, you don't even have to, I think I always kind of felt like that, but I felt like I was alone. I think that I know I'm not alone anymore in this concept of this quote unquote, in the words of Elder Ajani, spookism shit that we do. So we're out, and I'll give you a ring-a-ding next week, Jacob. I'm gonna have you come on, and we can delve into this a little bit more. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody, and peace out. Until next time, until Black's time, we are the champions.